had a guy once upon a time in EO tell me that, you take your typical person's career, it's a 45-year run, which I thought, oh my God, at the time I thought, holy cow, that seems like a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But as I've gotten older, I'm like, okay, yeah, he's about right? And he said 15-year chunks, 15 years. First is learning the thing, and second, 15 is mastery and monetization, and third is kind of the give back. And I'm in that phase. I'm in that third phase of my career of wanting to give back.
Welcome to The Roll Call, the podcast where we dive into the roles that define us. I'm your host, John Glahn. On each episode, we explore the journeys of people discovering their true roles in life, business, and beyond. Get ready for inspiring conversations about finding purpose and authenticity. Let's roll the roll call. Welcome, everyone, to the roll call. I'm John Glahn. I'm with Jude Olinger. We're all accounted for. This is the roll call.
Thank you, John. I appreciate being invited.
Well, you weren't invited. No, I'm just kidding.
I guess I was told.
No.
I was more told.
Thanks for joining. Right, the this podcast is about I have a passion for entrepreneurs, and but I also love to know the roles that we all play as an entrepreneur, and up and down the chain from personal to professional, and so that's what we're here for today. Jude is a new friend of mine. He's joined me in the Bloom Growth Coaching ranks. He has an illustrious career being an entrepreneur for 30 plus years, very successful firm, done the ups and the downs, and has been a very special part of my new journey with the coaching, and that's why I have him here. I'm in his home turf. I'm in New Orleans.
Damn right you are.
Tell us who Jude is.
Well, first of all, thank you for allowing me or telling me to be here. I do appreciate it very much, and I do have a passion for entrepreneurship. And I am very excited that we have become friends through Bloom Growth Coaching, because I enjoy spending my time with like-minded entrepreneurs. And like you, I feel that at my point in my career where I'm ready to work more on helping others succeed in their entrepreneurial journeys. So I want to help them get more of what they want out of their businesses, the way that someone helped me do mine. So you said the roles we play, if I could pick up from that.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously the role one I play is as an entrepreneur. I see myself through that lens and identify as an entrepreneur. I always tell people those are my people, those entrepreneurs. I'm also a husband of 20 years to my beautiful wife, Erica, and a father to my 16-year-old daughter, Grace. And we, balancing those roles, going back to the roles, is a challenge. But, I think I've successfully navigated it to the best of my ability. But I'm always trying to improve in all those areas. I want to be a better entrepreneur. I want to be a better husband. I want to be a better father.
Yeah, and now you had coached to that realm, right? And it's a different flavor.
And now I'm a leadership growth coach. And it's been quite interesting and fun to go from owning and running a business as a CEO for 30 years. I have a market research business that I started in 1994, and changing hats as being a coach instead of a player, right? So it was once upon a time that was proposed to me. I was talking to a guy about coaching and him becoming a coach. He says, well, I still want to play the game. So I feel like I have been able to play the game for quite a while. I enjoy the game, but coaching gives me a new spin on that. And it's been a fabulous journey so far. I guess we're in about 7 months now.
Yeah. So let's back up to your to the Olinger Group, right? Yep. Your marketing research firm. What the hell is marketing research?
Well, the Olinger Group is a market research firm, as you say, that I founded in 1994. And my quick elevator pitch is we help Fortune 500 companies, primarily Fortune 500 companies, to understand consumers' behaviors, attitudes, and opinions about products and services. And so when I have to bring it down to a level that most everyone understands is we survey people, we do focus groups, we do in-depth interviews with folks, we do in-home testing and in-home placement of products We do something called ethnographies, where we're really observing how people do what they do. And all those things constitute this world that we call market research, which is now called the insights industry. So it's been interesting because I've been in it for so long that the actual term of what I do is changed. It's no longer, people don't think of it as market research as much as they think of it as, or I should say, people still think of it as market research some, but as predominant, if not more predominant, is the term insights. So
Awesome.
I'm in the consumer insights business is probably the contemporary way of describing what we do.
Awesome. And your role within that company now?
So now, so I started in '94 and grew the business for 30 years. Picked up along the way quite a few people in the organization. One of whom, in about doing math about this, probably about year 6 or 7 or so, who still serves as the current COO of my business. So brought her into the organization, and the two of us together grew it for the last, however long she came on, 22, 23 years. But in the fall of last year, I guess in the summer, it started percolating. And it really kind of became clear in the fall because we were with a growth coach who was helping us to put our ideal leadership team in place, work on our plan, hit our quarterly, do our quarterly priorities. And we were meeting, and I was in the box that we call the visionary box in coaching, right? So I was definitely the visionary. But I was also partly the person who was doing sales and partly the person who was doing some operational things. And the goal was to get me just into the visionary box, just to be the visionary of the business. Achieved that goal in 22, I guess late 22, early 23. And I'm a guy who is very impatient. And I thought that, getting to that thing was going to be the thing that I really wanted. And in fact, I realized, you know what, I've built a leadership team here. There are a couple of visionaries on the team already. My integrator, who's my COO, who's integrating all of this systems and process, is really hitting her stride. There are younger people on my leadership team that we built who are really doing well. And I decided I didn't want to be that anymore. I didn't want to be the CEO. I was ready to move aside, and I was ready to make, in my mind, a bigger impact than just the business that I was running and growing. I really wanted to help other businesses do that same thing. And, part of it was that I've been in, not only have I been a business owner and entrepreneur for 30 years, but I also have been a part of a group called EO, or Entrepreneurs Organization, for about 20 of those. And I was already casually doing it, but I really wanted to go all in.
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted to help business owners get more of what they want out of their businesses. I really wanted to, because as much as I love the consumer insights market research business, the thing that I liked most about it was just running a business. That was the most fun part. Mm. And I belonged to our industry trade association. Not about the parts of the technical aspects of it didn't interest me nearly to the degree that the parts of how does this business model work? Mm-hmm. What are people doing to grow? How are they providing better products and services to the marketplace? Those were the kinds of things that really got me excited.
And so, if you think about that, what you just explained in the last, 4 or 5 years on your journey as you were trying to help your company get, you're using a coach like yourself. Mm-hmm. Your roles, you said you were a sales guy, you were head of the company, doing some other things. So you shed and or changed your roles significantly, I'd imagine, over that time.
I did.
And what else had to change for that to actually happen?
Yeah, I did. And, there was an adrenaline rush to being in sales. That wasn't really the highest and best use of my talents. I mean, I had relationships and everything else, but there are people who could do it even better than I could. And the highest and best use of the things that I was doing were these vision things. Big opportunities, big relationships, right? Mm-hmm. Big problems. And when I got into that role and into that box, there was a big time adjustment for me because I still wanted to do the other things I was doing. But once I focused my energy on this visionary thing, it became clear to me that, hey, this is my unique ability. This is what I can do best. At the same time, shortly thereafter, I thought, hey, this is all great, but I really want a new challenge. And so that's how the transition from player to coach, using that framing, came about. And I tell you what, I love my business. I root for them. They're doing a great job. I talk to them once every 3 months to get an update. We spend 90 minutes getting an update on everything, and then see you in 3 months. And it's allowed me to pour my energy and my professional focus into doing growth coaching for businesses. So I got to tell you, the one thing that I regret is not having done this even sooner. And it's not that I don't love the business that I had, but boy, do I love helping other businesses and seeing more businesses and more business models. I'm in the game in that way.
Yeah. I mean, I know you're a curious guy. You love a conversation, right? And so you're always inquisitive.
Me? No.
Yeah, always asking really good questions. So I know it has to be scratching an itch for you from that. Just the curiosity doesn't kill the cat, right? No, this is
100%. No, 100%. And I was scratching that itch a little bit with the companies that we did work for. They are big Fortune 500 businesses. And, I'm understanding their model and what they're doing, but you only get so much information at the level that we were playing in those. Whereas now I'm really in people's businesses, right? I'm talking to the principals who are making the decisions, who are working on the business, who are driving the business decision-making decisions. And I am a curious cat. That's actually how and why I got into research, is because of my curiosity. I love learning. My research business provided that, but I was still in that box of, the company that I had and that I was running.
Right.
But now I'm in lots of people's companies, and I'm hearing about lots of different business models. And it's really fun from my curiosity standpoint and scratching the itch. But it's also fun because I get to share my successes and my failures and the things that I've learned along the journey to help people do it faster.
Yeah. So 5 years ago, would you be able to just step away? I'm oversimplifying. I know you didn't just step away, but
yeah.
Would you be able to do that 5 years ago?
No, I don't think I was too integral to the business and being in so many seats. So if I had stepped away, in air quotes, it would have been that I was leaving responsibilities in multiple roles that I was being withdrawn from. And, I think I had some of the entrepreneur's dilemma, I call it, which is, I got this business, but what's the end goal here? Where am I going with this? And I have so many entrepreneurs tell me all the time, I got this great business and whatever, but I don't really have a plan for what am I going to do? What am I going to do next? And I was in that same boat. And I credit the fact that I put a leadership team in place through running on a growth system, operating system that put discipline and accountability in place. We had a framework, and all of a sudden we built, not all of a sudden because it wasn't overnight, but we had these disciplines that allowed us to build out over time the leadership team that allowed me to step out of it.
Yeah, see, that's incredible. And I think that's what, those that are in the EO world or in Vistage or YPO, those operating systems, call it EOS, scaling up, Bloom growth, which is the newest, hottest one.
Love me some Bloom growth.
It amazes me that I just assume that small businesses know what that is, right? Because I started implementing it in my company, my base company 5 years ago.
When did you? 5 years ago?
Yeah, 6 years ago. 6 years ago.
Okay.
And it's just the way of life, and you just assume that people, that they know that it's out there. And the reality is, thankfully, I'm in a professional peer group that showed that to me.
Yeah.
But not everyone has that, gets to see that. And, I think it's just the tip of the iceberg of companies that have that. So I can't imagine where you would be today. I know where I would be today. I'd be burnt out to pieces, and probably hating everything about my life if I didn't have something like an operating system to help simplify and processize my business. because I can't, I'm off doing a similar thing, right? We both, that's what we're kindred spirits in that way, where we're not burning a boat, but we know what the next chapter of our life is this, right?
Yeah.
It's helping. And I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't have an operating system in place that my great employees can follow and trust in them.
Oh, same. I believe strongly that running on an operating system, running my market research consumer insights business operating system was key to me being able to step out of the business. You are right that I just presumed everyone knew about it, but I'm in a circle of EO people, like you're in the Vistage circle, and those people have been exposed to it. But I'm talking to people with businesses all the time who have no idea that such a system exists. And when I tell them my story about implementing this in my own business and what it allowed me to do, gets their curiosity up because they're in that entrepreneur's dilemma, right? Like, what do I do with this thing? And I think it happens to anybody that's owned their business for more than 5-10 years. They're like, hey, I got this business, but what the hell am I going to do now or next? Or what am I going to do with this thing? So I do believe, and here was the crystal clear, for me, the crystal clear point that got me to say that we got to go in on this, doing this. I'd had at the time, my COO has been in the role she started out in a different role. Pretty quickly, she became the number 2, the COO of my business. And so she's been with me for most of the journey of my company, right? Mm-hmm. And when we did the meeting with the coach, who came in and explained the system about what we were going to do, what he did to help us and all that stuff, he left and she came into my office and said, if you don't do this, I'm quitting. And I said, what do you mean you're quitting? You're not quitting, you've been here 18 years. She goes, no, I'm tired. I'm very, very tired of all of the swings back and forth. We plan sometimes, we don't plan sometimes. We have rhythm sometimes, we don't have rhythm sometimes. I need a system of discipline and accountability in this organization because I am on the verge of quitting. And literally, she was on the verge of quitting the company. And she also said, if you just do this for 3 months, like you start stuff and never follow through and finish, I'm quitting. And I thought, oh, okay. So I could tell she was serious, and she was right. And so I went ahead and agreed to do it, and then realized that I was one of the blockers in the team, right, from progress pretty quickly. So it was able to identify my own limitation, or that I was a limiting factor of the business. But my point is that we didn't know about it, she didn't know about it, and I would tell you that it's one of the best decisions I ever made in business, and she would tell you the same. She's there now, 5-6 years later, thriving, and the reason she's thriving and the reason the business is thriving, leaders are thriving, is because we run on a system. And it's just how it's not even that we think we're doing it as a extra thing anymore. It's just how we run our business.
Right, it becomes habit, right? It's like you get up in the morning, you brush your teeth. That's the whole thing is set up to be, this is how we're going to communicate to each other. It's how we're going to prioritize things, right?
It becomes habituated. And it's through simplification and prioritization and constantly doing that within the business that's made that so. And it's, it allowed me to leave the business. I still own it. I believe in the business very strongly. I really believe in the leadership team, but it gave me a path to do something different for the next part of my career. And I see this as I had a guy once upon a time in EO tell me that, you take your typical person's career, it's a 45-year run, which I thought, oh my God, at the time I thought, holy cow, that seems like a long time. But as I've gotten older, I'm like, okay, yeah, he's about right? And he said 15-year chunks, 15 years. First is learning the thing, and second, 15 is mastery and monetization, and third is kind of the give back. And I'm in that phase. I'm in that third phase of my career of wanting to give back.
No, that's fantastic. It's funny, I'm going back to what you said where you were, different words, but you're the bottleneck in the company of true growth. And I think that is pretty much damn near universal with small companies, right? They're grown.
Not just small ones.
Well, right.
I would say.
But starting off,
owners.
Right? So starting off, absolutely, owners. But starting off, right, it's based upon you, the entrepreneur, The company is based on you, your effort, your thoughts, because you had the passion to get it started.
Yeah.
And, visionary types, right? We're chasing whatever shiny object, and, we are trying to improve and improving, but everyone else, we're accustomed to that change and love that change, right? That's how we're wired.
Yeah.
But everybody else behind us doesn't quite love that change as much. So it's interesting that you said, your second in command, she's like, listen, smack you around a little bit. This needs to happen. So funny that my newest client, it was the same thing, right? It was a husband and wife. And the husband heard the fee, and he's like, oh my God, he's worried about the fee. And she's like, I could give two shits about the fee. Mm-hmm. We're doing this.
Yeah.
Right? Because she's the one feeling the pain from all the turbulence. And so it's damn near universal whenever I'm speaking to new clients or companies out there. Because sometimes we got to get out of our way and let other people do things better than we do.
Right, and I think that your point is on spot. You're on spot with your point about the fact that we, as owners and founders of businesses, oftentimes it was just us. I mean, at least in my case, it was just me. It started out with me. And I know lots of people through the EO world who have a similar story. It was just them or them and a partner, right? You did everything. Mm-hmm. And so delegating and elevating is not really your go-to, because there's no one to delegate to elevate yourself.
Yeah, or slow down.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think of myself oftentimes, or I was thinking about myself. There's the FedEx commercial where the guy, where the company's hired FedEx, and the shipping clerk guy is busy, and he's in the office, right? And there's nothing in the office with him, but he's still stuck in his old ways. He's thinking, I'm so busy, because that's just how he operated. Yeah. I think many owners operate that way, and they are not introspective enough, and they just are headstrong, and they feel like it's their thing, and they don't give it enough space. So I do think it takes an owner who is interested. A lot of people say they're interested in growth, but I think it's hard. I mean, I always say this all the time too. All these things are simple; they're just not easy, right? So I really believe, getting in shape. People know what to do: move more, right? Better lifestyle and healthy eating. They know what to do. It's just not. It's simple. It's just not easy. If it were easy, everyone would do it. Right. So I think that these disciplines and doing these kinds of things as an owner, they're simple, but they're just not easy. And we have a lot of blind spots in that. And then if we've got people around us who have been on our leadership team for a long time, they won't be open and honest without fear, because they know he's just not going to listen, or she's not going to listen, or whatever it might be. So I do believe that very strongly in the fact that not always that the owner is an obstacle, but I think that it oftentimes is the case, and it varies. Degrees vary.
Sure.
The owner who can change and get out of the way is the one who's going to be successful. The one who's obstinate and is never going to let go and is never going to make room for others and grow a leadership team, I don't think is going to go very far, because I think they're going to be stuck. Mm-hmm. And so when I'm talking to people, I'm also evaluating them to see if they're coachable, and if they truly do mean that they're truly sincere and are capable. I think they're all sincere, but I think, are they truly capable of being able to grow?
Take that action of growing.
Yeah.
By getting away.
Right.
Oddly enough. Right?
And I had a call on the drive over here. I looked at the phone and I said, oh my goodness, this guy. So I'd given up on him 3 months ago. Because I thought, he says he wants to grow, but he's not taking the action or giving me the indicators he's going to. And he said, okay, I'm ready. And I said, ready for what? And he said, I'm ready. I want to keep moving. I want to get back on this thing and move forward. And I said, that's great. So we're back in discussions again.
Is this a 90-minute or a day one coming?
Oh, I've done all that. No, I'm sorry. I've done the 90-minute Bloom. So we've done the discovery call, and I've had many 90-minute conversations with him.
But he's ready to start.
But he's ready to execute. He's what he needs and doesn't have. The key person he doesn't have is a COO.
Sure.
Because he had a couple of business partners. They retired. So he's missing this COO. And I said to him, he asked if I could coach him individually. And I said, I cannot coach you individually. I don't do executive coaching. And even if I coached you and you came up with all these, these plans and all this stuff, I know you've got no execution in you. You just don't.
Right.
And he said, yeah, you're right about that. I don't. So I said, until you can find somebody who's got the execution component of this thing, and make these things happen, it's just a waste of your time and mine.
Right.
So he has identified someone, and his resolve is there now.
When's he starting?
I don't know yet. We haven't got that far.
Either way, man.
Yeah,
Congrats.
Soon is the answer.
Congrats. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, soon is the answer.
I got to start kicking it back in gear.
Yeah, and it was a surprise thing that I kind of, not that I didn't, I mean, I met with them at least 4 times.
Yeah.
Right? And I felt like it was a circuitous thing. And, the other thing about coaching that I find interesting is that I've got resources because I've met people over the course of my journey, and I'm continually, I'm a connector. I keep meeting people.
Mm-hmm.
And the 2 people that he's interviewed for the fractional COO job are both people that I gave him to interview. And that's the other thing I think, John, it's important about coachability, is that if I give someone, if they say, hey, we need a resource, or I have a hole, and I say, here's some resources and here's some things, but you got to reach out to them, right? It's a very telling sign if they don't.
Yeah, right.
I mean, if you can't even, if you say, man, I got this pain, and I say, well, here's some potential medicine, right, beyond just me, and they can't go and do that, we got to, how committed are they?
Right. That's the exciting part, man, is you can't expect everyone to get it, that this is something they should be doing. So we judge them. It's like, God, you need this. Like, I could read you like a book. You need this so bad. Like, let's go. But they've got to get it on their own terms.
Yeah.
Right. And, but when they do, I mean, I can't wait to hear the story in 2-3 years about what this guy turns into, what the company turns into.
Yeah.
Because he's clearly now, the pain is there. Maybe the excitement, whatever it is there. And you guys are just getting started. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, it's not going to be a couple, 3 years. It'll be a couple quarters. We're going to turn it around.
Fair.
I mean, he wants to double, triple the business. And I want to say, let's do it. I mean, once he's resolved to it and committed to it, I think there's a ton of, and I find this in many businesses, pin-up potential. It's unlocked potential that's there that needs someone, or I don't think it's someone. They need a system to be helping them to unlock that potential.
Well,
someone to be leading them down that journey.
Well, there's one thing to double and triple in size. It's one thing to do it reasonably well so it's sustainable.
Yeah.
Right? Because, like, again, you're a sales guy. I'm sure you could fill the pipeline with, with anything, right? Get people to buy from you, from your old company. But if you don't have the execution part of it, if you don't have the process part of it, you're gonna kill somebody.
Well, they all work hand in hand, right? We always say it's sales. So you sell something, you make something, and you collect the money, and you've got to repeat that cycle. But if sales does a great job and then operations blows it, you got a problem. And if you do all that and you don't collect the money, you got a problem, right? Or if the sales funnel is broken because you're not getting your share of opportunities and leads and you're not closing them at the rate. I mean, they all work together, and that's a systems and processes thing.
Yeah.
Which we teach in coaching, right?
Yeah. Talk to me about coaching versus consulting.
Yeah. Well, that's a one that I'm interested in very much, because oftentimes when people introduce me, they'll say, oh, he's a consultant. And I'm like, no. So the 2 misidentifications I get labeled with are consultant, I am not, and executive coach, I am not. I am a growth coach for leadership teams. I only will coach teams. I had a call today with a PE firm, and this conversation specifically about his angle of attack. So I don't know if he was a pilot, but he was talking about the angle of attack. And I said, I don't do, because he was under the impression that I was I was a sounding board for CEOs. And I said, that I am not. I mean, I am that tangentially, but it's not the primary thing. And so you hit the nail on the head about the consulting versus coaching. Years ago, 25, 30 years ago, early in my business career, I was with a woman who was doing consulting, and she had a friend who was doing coaching. And his definition was that he gave her, which stuck with me all these years. And I don't know why I didn't find coaching sooner, but he said to her, Patty, I'm not a consultant. I'm a coach. So here's the difference. At the end of the day, when you're a consultant, all the work is on your desk. and you've got to go do all this stuff as a consultant. When you're a coach, at the end of the day, it's really the work is on their desk. They're the ones who have to go execute and do it. And I tell clients and prospective clients all the time, I don't have all the answers. I don't have the answers at all. I have good questions. You guys have the answers, right? I just have really good questions to be able to get the answers out of you. And I think the distinction is such that it's really, in my market research business, they would also call us consultants. And we really weren't consultants. We weren't telling people what to do. We were telling them what the facts were, right? I'm teaching people the tools, and I'm helping elicit and I'm asking them really good questions to help them figure out their own problems. Because some people like to be told what to do, but most of the time people don't like to be told what to do exactly. So right. I'm helping them figure out the answers because they're more qualified. They're more in their businesses than I am. And I used to have this in the market research space. They'd say, well, what should we do? And I'm like, well, I can tell you what the research says, and I can tell you what I would do based on the research, but that's one component of the whole thing. There's all kinds of other things happening in your organization, in your marketplace that I'm not aware of. And that's why you make the big bucks, Mr. Big Time Publicly Traded CEO. Right? I mean, that's your thing. So small businesses, I think, are more small, medium-sized businesses and large businesses that are private. Anybody that's privately held, they don't have that paralysis, I don't believe, of the decision-making as badly. But I do think they need some help eliciting the answers, even if they already know them, but eliciting the answers. And the other part is it's enabling their teams to be able to discuss and decide what the hell to do so that they come up with a plan that's not just his or hers, Mr. Business Owner, but it's theirs, leadership team.
You know, you hit it on the head, or I've heard it said in another way too. Coaching is asking the right questions.
Yeah.
Consulting is one that's supposed to be the expert.
Yes.
That's doing the work, but also telling you what to do.
Right.
And there are uses for each one. But I also go back to what you said about having the team come up with the plan, because you're not going to listen to what I say. They might hear it, but is everyone going to be bought in to something that Joe Blow over here says to do, or something that the team came up with together, right? And so the power is in them, and it's so empowering and interesting when we can pull that out of someone just by asking the right questions.
Yeah, 100%. I had another guy, an EO guy from New York who sold his business recently, and he said to me, he really knew that the business was a real business when it became not just his vision, but their vision, and their being his leadership team.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like to ask a good, solid, grounding question.
All right.
Towards the end here. So saddle up. Don't be pansy. Go deep here. What is your largest or one of your largest failures, and what did you learn from it?
Business-wise, or?
Whatever is on your heart.
Largest is trying to think of a relative thing, because there are some, I guess that the thing that I think might be fail or not optimal is, I could point to a bunch of zigs when I should have zagged kind of things. I struggle with the balance in my life of being, I have very high expectations of what I want and what I want from others. And I think that, when the final word is written, that I wish I would have been able to find a better balance with my business and my family and my personal life. And I don't feel like I'm really out of balance in a huge way, but I just feel like I could have done a better job of balancing it. And specifically, there was a movie that this quoted in this line. I'm not a pop culture guy. I fail all the quizzes on all of that. But the quote was that worry is like paying interest on a debt that never comes due. And that line has stuck with me. And my failure has been to worry more than I really should have, and be a worrier. And if I were one thing I would change, it would be worry less. as I age, I think I'm getting better at that.
Mm-hmm.
And when I said the balance thing earlier, I think, I was scrounging around thinking, but I think that the worry has exacerbated the imbalance. I mean, I know I am a great father and a great husband, because my wife and my daughter tell me I am, not just because in my own mind. I think I've done, great work in business and mentored lots of people and grew a business and created a lot of economic opportunity, all of which I'm very proud of. But boy, I sure wish I had worried less. And going forward, I struggle with that still.
So that's the past.
Yeah.
And let's say if we're going to learn from that, using your quote you spit at me, what do we do about the future?
Meditation is one technique. My wife tells me when I'm blue or down, she kicks me in the ass and says, go talk to somebody. Get out of here. Pick up the phone, call somebody. I get an endorphin rush, right? I'm a super connector kind of guy. My superpower is connection. And when I just start talking to people and connecting with people, I immediately feel better. So, this whole idea of ABC always be closing, another movie reference again.
You're not a movie guy, for sure.
I am not. I really am not. I just know that it's always be connecting.
Yeah.
I believe it's always be connecting, not always be closing.
Because maybe, God forbid, if you're doing what you love, you don't have to worry about anything.
That is true. That's true. And I varying degrees of loving, but I will say that I really, really love what I'm doing now. I love coaching. I'm meeting a whole new group of people that I'm connecting with, which obviously is feeding my superpower and my desire to make connection. I met you. I've met all the other women growth coaches. I'm meeting all these business owners that I hadn't known before. Lots of them I had known, but I'm just making more and more and more connection. And so I'm relishing the role that I'm playing now. Speaking of roles, right? I really love my role now. I really do. It's been a long time since I've loved the role that I'm in as much as I do today.
I love that. So maybe we can add to that, role is worryless.
Yes.
Then you can love the whole thing.
Yes. And I'm getting much better at that, because, again, age and experience teach you that a lot of times that's just for nothing.
You're a badass dude.
Thanks, sir. So are you. I appreciate you very much.
Yeah. So thanks for joining, Jude. How can people get in touch with you and find a way to have them be your coach to help them grow their company beyond their dreams?
Well, I always tell people my 3 favorite ways are text messages, phone calls, and emails, because there's a gajillion channels. But I am on LinkedIn. It's Jude Olinger, Olinger. And Jude as in Hey Jude or St. Jude, depending on your flavor of the Beatles or Catholicism. And then, I have judeolinger.com. So it's my name spelled out in a URL that has my contact information. And I'm Jude at judeolinger.com. It's about as easy as it comes. Yeah. So, reach out, connect to me online, connect to me on LinkedIn, and call John Glahn. He knows how to reach me.
Absolutely. I welcome anyone to hop on a call with you, Jude. It's always a fruitful journey. I'm sorry I couldn't make this another 3-hour session.
No, it's
easily.
Good.
But
thank you, sir.
But thanks for joining. And thanks, everyone, for listening. Please follow us, share it with your friends, and join us next time on The Roll Call. That's a wrap. Thanks for tuning in to The Roll Call with John Glahn. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe for more insightful conversations. Remember, discovering your true role in life is a journey worth exploring each and every day. Until next time, keep defining your path and living your authentic self. This is John Glahn, signing off.